This is Rick Gooding, broker in charge, North Star Real Estate, working on a training video for transaction Zipforms edition for creating a transaction for a listing. If you're not an agent with North Star Real Estate and are watching this video, please talk to your broker in charge about anything that questions you may have about this. This video is for North Star Real Estate agents only. To start with your transaction for a listing, you need to go to your zipformsplus.com account and log in. Once you're logged in, you will click on New. This is going to be a new listing, so we will click New Listing. This will give us a chance to name our file. I usually name the file with the client name and address of the property. So I will do that here. You can name it however you want to name it and whatever works best for your system. Keying in the property address. This can be done through MLS Connect if you have already put it in MLS, but at this point, I doubt you will have. You can use Zipforms Record Connect. That will give you information from public records to enter some of the information, but I would suggest using this to put in your own information. This is a residential listing. It is going to be active, and you will choose your template. And in this case, it will be a residential listing. For this example, we are going to use a newer 1978 to present. The only difference would be that the 78 prior would have the lead-based paint addendum. So we will click on that. If you have any notes or anything else that you'd like to put in here, you can do that too. And then click Save. This will create your transaction. And here you will have the information you need to start with. This is your summary information. Here you've already got the address, street, things of that nature. You can put in subdivisions, school districts, any of that information you'd like to put in, any listing summary information, any of this information that you would like to fill in, you can fill in. It is not mandatory. From this, we will go to the parties. Here we are setting up for the sell side or the sell side. So you can click that and that will move your seller information to the top. So we're going to click on seller one, key in our seller one's information. Again, full name is preferable, first, middle, and last, or you can choose to start with this and then add this in later or key it in when you're doing your forms. Put in the email address. That's the two main things you will need. Any of this other information is great to have because you're going to save it to your address book. That way you'll have it for any other work with this client. If it is an LLC or an estate or some form of that where you have a company name or an estate name up in this area, then you will include here who the signing representative is. The signing member or manager for the LLC, the executor or executrix of the estate will go in here with their email address. Once you have that, you click Save. You now have your seller in place. You will go over here and include yourself, listing agent. If you had done what I told you to do a minute ago and save things in there to your address book, then you should be in your own address book. So I will type in my name and I will click on that. And now my information is saved. You always need all of this information, your agent ID, which is your MLS ID, your license number, email address, phone number, the company name, the company firm license number, and the firm office ID for the MLS. Once that's in there, click Save. If you have more than one seller, you will add those in there. Otherwise, you're set with this. You'll go to Documents. Since you chose the template for listing, you now have your blank listing documents, your ratified contract documents, your ratified closing documents, your ratified listing documents, and then you always have an archive folder. Your blank listing documents are where you will go to get everything you need to list the property. You will have your exclusive right to sell listing agreement, property disclosure, mineral and gas, professional services disclosure, your question and answers on home inspections, a seller estimate sheet, coming soon from the MLS if you're going to do that. If you have more than 3 signatures, you will need the additional signatures. Septic and sewer verification, very important form we'll go over when we're going over forms. This is an offer to purchase that is in here because your listing agreement says you have given your client a sample copy of the offer to purchase for them to look over. You're working with agents brochure. You're working with agents question and answer brochure for the client to, if they have any questions about working with agents, it's in here. And then your listing control form. Again, new control form started with the February 22nd change. The listing control form is similar to the one you've used before, but there's been a few changes due to the changes the company made and some things that we took off that we didn't know that were no longer needed. So you can fill that out. It is a Word document. You can fill it out via Word and include on here. That is the document that lets me know that you included all your documents and what your bottom line is after referrals, company fee, and anything else that you got to pay so that I know when I process it, what to pay you. Once you get all of these filled out and signed by your buyers, you will bring them back into ratified listing documents. And each one of these you see marked required are part of required documents for the process, for the transaction to be processed and for you to be paid. Some things may not always be available, but all the ones that are marked in red should be included in every listing. And these are just placeholders or file folders. So once you have your septic and sewer verification filled out and signed, you will put it back in here. Same thing with the real list tax. You'll get that off of the MLS. Ratified working with real estate agents. All of these forms you're getting filled out. Either you're getting off of MLS to put in here for information purposes, or you're getting filled out and brought back into here for the file to be processed. If you do a coming soon, that doesn't show as a required form because not every listing is done coming soon, but there is a placeholder for it. There's a placeholder for the seller's net sheet, additional signatures, things that aren't required, still have a placeholder, but are not showing in red as required. Once you finish with that and you get a contract from a buyer, then this is a place where you will put all of the information that comes from the buyer's agent for the contract, the disclosures, the due diligence acknowledgement, and the earnest money acknowledgement. And finally, closing documents. You will upload the completed control form, put it in this folder here. If you have a due diligence repair request, you can put that in here, not required. If there was a home warranty offered, that's put in here. And then finally, your closing statement, closing disclosure, or ALTA form are all, whichever one you get, or all of them that you get, go into here, and they have to be signed by your client. It has to be a final copy, and it has to be signed by your client at the attorneys. That would be put in here. That's the thing that I will check finally before you're paid. This is not complete and correct, then we'll have to go back through it again to make sure everything's there. After that's done, you will go back when you get ready. Everything's in here, everything's ready to be processed. You will go back to your summary screen, go to submit for review. Once you click submit for review, you'll click needs review, and then you'll click apply. That will send it to me to be processed. I will check the transaction and make sure all the forms are correct, make sure everything is in the place it needs to be. And once that's done, I will approve and pay. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. Otherwise, let's go out and get some listings. Thanks.